All right, so your job is going to be to kind of follow along and write down the things that I'm saying. Now, I pulled this piece, one, because I really like it. Two, because I think at this point you should have some historical context. Two, this is just prior to the American Revolution. So y'all should have some context to it. But also it's pre-20th century text, which tends to be difficult for us because of the structure of the sentences, like the syntax, right? So one of the things that I think you guys struggle with when reading difficult texts is when there are compound complex sentences, right? When there are multiple commas and, you know, semicolons and the whole 9 yards, y'all just read it all through the period. And then you don't figure out like all the pieces and parts of a sentence. So I want you to listen to the way that I'm reading things and then how I'm figuring out what things mean and where they belong, right? Because we have to, when we read something difficult, we have to figure out how do we work ourselves through it. This is going to come up when y'all read like historical documents in history, like the original documents. Sometimes if you're reading, especially when you get to upper level sciences in college and you're having to read like studies and research, right? Those are all things that are difficult to read. So we have to have a way of like kind of working through those. So I'm going to help you with that today. Now, back when we started all this, I was like, I don't want any summary and annotations, right? No summary. Those pieces were easy. So there are pieces where you're going to have to go through it a couple of times in order to have an understanding before you actually take action on whatever it is that you're supposed to do with that piece of text, right? So I'm going to walk you through the understanding of this piece. Your job is going to be to go back next week and find the things to talk about the things. But I'm going to help you to understand it, okay? So you can write all over this because that's like what I made it for, is for you to write down like what he is saying so that you can go back and analyze it. Notice that a couple of things on the bottom I have put up, I've went ahead and pulled like our like definitions. I pulled anything that was like an allusion to something, the biblical allusions, the Greek mythology allusions. I pulled those and put those in reference down there. It's not necessary that you have to know them in order to understand it, but it does help. Will a couple of y'all bring out your computers so we can look up some definitions? And then that way, I have some defined down there, but there are some things that we need to define as we go. All right, so like I said, your job is going to be to take notes as I read because I am not going to write anything down. All right. Okay. In 1775, American independence was not a foregone conclusion. While there had been unrest and resistance in Massachusetts with scattered acts of support from other areas, no organized movement toward revolution existed across the colonies. On March 23, 1775, Patrick Henry addressed the delegates of the Virginia Convention. Read the passage carefully, write an essay that analyzes the rhetorical choices Henry makes to convey his purpose of convincing delegates to secede from Britain. All right. You got like 2 minutes with your partner. I know there's not a lot of room up there, but about 2 minutes to kind of break down that prompt, find the things that you need to find. You got about 2 minutes to do that with your partner. Ready, set, go.